finally Jordan Peele's Nope. And third time's a charm. I mean, Get Out, I don't think needs us any introduction. Get Out was the movie that showed us that Jordan Peele was more than a comedian or more than a comic. He was a filmmaker with something to say, with a real talent for saying it and a real talent for writing. Then you had Us, which proved that he could layer a story with a lot of symbolism, dense ideas, and stuff of that nature too, with a great Lupita Nyong'o performance as well.
Yeah.
But now you have him making a blockbuster, but not a conventional blockbuster. This is a blockbuster with a real brain in its head. This is also a movie that really reminded me of, you know what I kept thinking of with this movie? It kept reminding me, and I think the internet's kind of gone on to like this movie. I know it was really liked when it first came out, and then then people started getting the naysayers saying it's not that good, it's kind of a ripoff. But now I've always liked it. I've seen it twice. This reminded me a lot of Super 8. It reminded me a lot of Super 8.
Yeah.
In some ways too, like we're half of the movie. It's not about figuring out the supernatural activities or the why and when and how. It's about the element of like discovery and trying to beat it and trying to outsmart it and outwit it and the strategy. That's what reminded me a lot of Super 8. And even sort of visually, and I'm not the first to make this comparison, it has a lot of like Amblin qualities to it. Like early Jesus Siskel.
I thought some Nope shit was happening right
Yeah,
now.
I was like,
no kidding, right?
He's getting debris thrown into his house right now and everything.
No kidding, right? Here comes the quarter. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like these early Amblin movies, like these early Spielberg movies. And that's where I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Subtextually, it's dense. We can touch on that. I think performance-wise, it's great. And just to end my closing thoughts, I have been scouring the internet, and of course, they've gone up in price now. I have found a couple. I really friggin' want a Scorpion King hoodie. I really want a rust-colored Scorpion King hoodie, a crew hoodie, too. I want a crew hoodie, too. I will look damn good in football season in a Scorpion King hoodie. If you can find one for under $40, send it to your boy. I move over to you, Dom. What's your thoughts, general thoughts on Jordan Peele's Nope?
Fun ass movie, dude. And I didn't even have the pleasure of watching it in a packed theater. I actually watched it last night.
Oh man.
Did you say Joe? You saw it in a pretty active theater, right?
I saw it in an active theater, and I'm not trying to sound mean when I say this. I had a black audience, and it made this movie 30 times better.
Yeah, 100%.
I can see it. I
Steve,
didn't
how about
it
you?
sucked because I had that with Get Out, but I didn't have it with Us. But I was so glad to have it again with this movie.
Steve, did you watch it with an active theater?
It wasn't completely active, no. I had maybe about 15 people in it. It wasn't really active, and it was a Thursday night too, so I was a little underwhelmed about that.
Yeah, mine was pretty dead. It was Tuesday, literally last night, so I'm coming in probably the freshest, and so I didn't even have that going for me, but I was still having a lot of fun for it, dude. Monkeys are scary. That's my biggest takeaway from this movie in terms of like what to be scared of. It's not the sky. It's not space. It's not, the darkness.
What can't be tamed?
Being alone with the power out. No, it's a freaking chimp. That's the scariest thing for me coming out of this movie. Dude, this is the type of movie that doesn't linger too much on its, on some deep character-driven web of this or that. It is very much a Spielbergian kind of affair. Might be out of his. I haven't seen Us, but I'm willing to take a stab between Us and Get Out and this. This is probably even his most, not generic. That's not the right word, but like
mainstream.
Straight ahead. Yes, mainstream, straight ahead plot. Still a lot of depth underneath it, of course, but in terms of its plot, it's probably the one you could easily most compare to the most messed up Guess Who's Coming to Dinner that is Get Out. But dude, this is still a really fun movie, and I've said it before. Is the one time I'll say it for this show. I am not a horror dude. I do not like horror, but even I still had a lot of fun with this. Okay, debate. 30-second debate. With this, is this thriller? Is this horror?
Thriller.
Thriller. Yeah, that's pretty much where we need to. We might have to define on what is horror exactly, and that'll take up the rest of the
It's
show.
a little bit of a sci. I think it's sci-fi
Yeah.
too. You have to
I
throw in sci-fi.
I kind of thought
Sci-fi
of it as
thriller.
a sci-fi. I would still say it's kind of horror, but I thought of it more of
Oh
a
yeah,
sci-fi. I thought more of a sci-fi thriller horror film. Like I mean, when I start talking about what I thought of the movie, you'll see why I'm thinking that. Like
exactly. So I'll leave it there, and I can clearly hear arguments for both. I'm not even gonna spark that any further. But yeah, dude. Even then, I still had a lot of fun with this movie. Every performance here, and so let me get back to what I was saying, which is that the performances here, it's so quality over quantity. Particularly with Steven Yeun, who puts in so much for relatively what little he does. And even his character is split between another actor, who did a great job too in his few scenes. It's all quality. Every single moment is quality. I would love to see a breakdown, an analysis of like, is this scene necessary? That's been kind of my trip lately. Is this scene necessary? Is this really that? Kind of like thinning the fat out of it, and then every now and then I'll go watch something like the 10 Commandments, like a grand epic, and it's like so much of this is unnecessary, but I still love it. But in any case, yeah, dude, it is tight. It is fun. It's 2 hours and 131 minutes. And that's still quick on its feet. And I definitely love the hell out of this movie. That's my general thoughts. And I'll leave it to you, Joe.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm going to say this, Jordan Peele, I was, going into this, I'm like, man, like Get Out, when I was my first year on Sleepless, when we did our top 10 of 2017, Get Out was number 2 on my list. When I did my own show in 2019, Us, I had at number 10, and I was just like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know about this one, man. I'm like, ain't no way he's gonna bat 3 for 3. He's gotta fall at some point. I'm hoping it's not with this movie, but we'll see. No, man, Peele, yeah, you're batting 3 for 3 with me. Like, this is an impressive, like, first 3 movies, like, to me. Like, I haven't felt this way about a director's start since probably what's the guy's name that made Baby Driver and everything? Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Where like, I came off his first 3 movies, I'm like, he has his comedy, he has a style and everything, and it's like Jordan Peele has the exact same thing going for him. I think this movie really helps me go like, okay, I know what Peele's style looks like. I know what he's gonna do with his movies. There's a lot of subtext to his movies, underneath the horror and everything. And I think Nope kind of just solidifies him on like how it is and everything, how he does his films and everything. This movie juggles a lot of ideas. It plays with a lot of ideas. It throws a lot at you. And not everything works in my opinion. But for the most part, the main stuff that I needed to work, which was Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya's like relationship as a brother and sister and their whole plot line, that stuff to me like was the heart of the story, and that always kept me engaged. Steven Yeun, Dom, I completely agree with you. He killed it. There's just some other characters that kind of pop up. Like there's a cinematographer character that speaks in fortune cookies, and like that's all his dialogue is. And I was just like, well, that was a character, sure. There's like little
Michael Wincott.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a plot line brought up between Steven Yeun's ranch that he owns and the horse ranch that Daniel Kaluuya, who plays the character named OJ, and Keke Palmer's character, like their ranch have like some rivalry, and it's like talked about for like a second and it's dropped like it was never a thing. And it's just like there's a lot of stuff being thrown, there's a lot like in this movie, and it's like while like not everything is balanced or juggled that well, Peele knows like, hey, at the end of the day, I need to make sure this story just flows through and ends on a good note. And like that to me, like as convoluted as Us was at times, at the end of the day, I was like, I enjoyed hanging out with that family in that movie, hoping that they would make it through to the end, and like, cheering them on and like wanting them to make it out. Like it's like at the end of the day, that movie made me feel that way. And it's the same thing with Get Out, where it's like there wasn't really nothing convoluted with Get Out, but I wanted him to get out of that house. And it's the same thing here with what they're doing in this film. At the end of the day, it's like, man, like your main story is so damn good. I'm so invested in it that it's just like, even when there's stuff that like might distract me or pull me out of the movie, I'm right back in it because everything here, the primary stuff that I need to be focused on, it's so damn good.
No, I completely agree. Jordan Peele, maybe one of his more underrated writing tactics, and I think like people don't mention it because it's almost kind of just inherent. Like it just comes to you eventually. You really begin to truly care about these characters and their well-being across all three of his movies, Get Out, Us, and now Nope. And you know what's funny too? I don't want to go long-winded on this, but if you think about it, I wonder if Jordan Peele's trying to tell us something about with his movie titles. Get Out, Us, Nope.
I saw a meme that someone said by the end of his career, all of his movies will form a sentence.
It's on the trajectory. He's on.
That's a sequel. Nah.